The moment Arjun Vale nearly lost his balance on the crowded daytime bus, holding his daughter's small hand while juggling grocery bags, he felt the familiar weight of being unseen pressed down on his chest. The city moved fast under the bright morning sun, glass buildings flashing past the windows, people absorbed in their own lives, while he stood there quietly exhausted, hoping no one noticed how close he was to breaking. He had learned that life did not pause for single fathers, grief, or tired hearts. It only tested how long you could keep standing. If you believe kindness still matters in a world that often forgets it, take a moment to like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel Kindness Touch. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them. Arjun was 37, a widower for 4 years, and the full-time world to his 6-year-old daughter, Meera. Every day was a careful balance of school drop-offs, construction shifts, unpaid bills, and quiet prayers whispered during lunch breaks. His wife's photograph still sat on the narrow shelf in their modest apartment, sunlight touching the frame every morning as if reminding him that love once lived easily in their home. He never complained out loud. He simply woke up before dawn, packed lunches, tied shoelaces, and told his daughter that everything would be okay, even when he was not sure himself. That morning, after dropping Meera at school, Arjun stopped by a small neighborhood cafe to use the restroom and refill his water bottle before work. The cafe was flooded with daylight, warm and calm, and that was when he noticed her. A woman sat alone at a corner table near the window, a baby stroller beside her, her shoulders slumped in a way that felt painfully familiar. She wore a simple beige coat, her hair tied loosely, dark circles under her eyes, visible even in the soft sun. Papers were scattered across the table, some stamped, some handwritten, all slightly crumpled, as if hope itself had been folded too many times. Arjun was not the type to interfere in strangers' lives, but something about her stillness made him pause. He recognized that look. It was the look of someone calculating how many hours of strength they had left. He noticed the baby sleeping restlessly, tiny fingers clenched, and he remembered the days when Meera was that small and the world felt impossibly heavy. Without overthinking, he ordered an extra tea and a simple sandwich, paying with the last of the cash he had planned to save for the bus ride home. He placed the tray gently on her table and nodded once, offering a quiet smile before stepping away. He did not ask questions or wait for gratitude. He knew how pride could ache during hard times. As he turned back toward the counter, he felt lighter, unaware that a pair of sharp, observant eyes followed his every movement. The woman's name was Anaya Verma, though no one in that cafe knew it. To them, she was just another tired mother in a city full of them. But in truth, Anaya was the CEO of Verma Tech Solutions, one of the fastest-growing ethical tech companies in the country. That morning, she was not there by accident. For years, she had believed that leadership was not proven in boardrooms alone, but in how people treated others when nothing could be gained. She had spent months quietly observing the city, stepping into ordinary spaces, testing human kindness without titles or status. Anaya watched as Arjun refilled his bottle, his hands rough from labor, his face carrying lines far deeper than his age. She saw how he glanced at the clock, urgency mixed with responsibility, and how he still stopped to help an elderly man pick up dropped coins near the door. There was no performance in his actions, no audience, just instinctive goodness shaped by hardship. Later that afternoon, Arjun's day took a turn for the worse. At the construction site, the supervisor announced reduced hours due to budget cuts. Arjun's name was on the list. Reduced hours meant reduced pay, and reduced pay meant choices no parent should have to make. As the sun climbed high in the sky, heat pressing down, Arjun worked silently, his mind racing ahead to school fees, groceries, and rent. He did not know how he would stretch what little he had left. Over the next few days, life continued its relentless pace. Arjun saw Anaya again, this time outside Mira's school, struggling to fold the stroller while holding her baby. Without hesitation, Arjun stepped in, securing the latch and offering a reassuring nod. They exchanged brief smiles, nothing more. No names, no stories, just small moments stitched together by daylight and decency. What Arjun did not know was that Anaya had already begun her quiet investigation. She learned about him through observation alone, noting his routine, his consistency, how he never raised his voice, how his daughter laughed freely beside him. She saw how he carried the invisible weight of loss and responsibility without bitterness. For Anaya, this was exactly the heart she was searching for. Weeks later, Arjun received an unexpected email at the public library where he used free internet after work. It was an invitation to attend a community leadership workshop sponsored by a foundation he had never heard of. At first he thought it was spam, but something compelled him to attend, even if it meant taking a day off work he could not afford. The workshop was held in a sunlit community center, filled with ordinary people, teachers, caregivers, small business owners, parents. Arjun felt out of place in his worn shoes and faded shirt. As the session progressed, discussions centered around empathy, leadership through service, and real-world resilience. Every word felt like it had been written from his own life, and for the first time in years, Arjun felt seen. Then Anaya walked onto the stage. She stood confidently under the bright lights, composed and calm. No trace of the exhaustion she had worn weeks earlier. As she introduced herself as the CEO of Vermatech Solutions, a ripple of surprise moved through the room. Arjun felt his breath catch. Recognition hit him slowly, like sunlight breaking through clouds. The tired mother from the café, the stroller, the scattered papers, it all clicked. Anaya spoke about invisible kindness, about people who step up not because they are rewarded, but because it is who they are. She shared that this workshop was not random, but an invitation extended to individuals she had observed quietly across the city. People who passed her test without knowing they were being tested. When her gaze met Arjun's, there was no embarrassment, only deep respect. She shared his story without naming him, describing the single father who gave away his last meal without expecting anything in return. By the end of her speech, the room was silent, hearts heavy and full at the same time. After the event, Anaya personally approached Arjun, thanking him not for what he did for her, but for who he was every day. She offered him a position at her company, not as charity, but as recognition, a role in community outreach and ethical operations, with stable hours, fair pay, and flexibility for his daughter. Arjun was overwhelmed. He tried to decline at first, his pride trembling, but Anaya reminded him that accepting kindness was not weakness, it was trust. Months passed, and life slowly transformed. Arjun no longer counted coins at night. Mira started attending art classes she loved. Their apartment felt warmer, lighter. Arjun walked into work each morning with purpose, knowing his lived experience helped shape policies that protected others like him. He never forgot where he came from, and he never stopped helping quietly, just as he always had. Anaya, in turn, found her faith in humanity renewed. She often said that titles could open doors, but character decided who should walk through them. The city remained busy, bright, and imperfect under the daytime sun, but within it, small acts of kindness continued to ripple outward, unseen yet powerful. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that kindness still has the power to change lives, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and stay connected with Kindness Touch. Before the ending, we have a special request for you. Comment below with one word that describes how this story made you feel.